Welcome to another edition of Halftime Chat Must Be the Music. Got a special guest. I always say all my guests are special, but I've got Walter Mucho Scott. For those who are New Jack fans, you would have seen his name a lot on credits with Teddy Riley because he was in his production camp. On various Blackstreet tracks and another tracks. But prior to that, he was part of the R&B New Jack group called Basic Black. Okay, well, finally got through. How you doing?
All right, how about you?
Yeah, doing well. Yeah, so I'm this is what we call Must Be the Music. What we do is to talk to, I think what I've have to realize that most of my audience are really big fans of 90s R&B, New Jack, swing. And so they always want to know, they hear the music, but they like to hear the story behind the music, talk to the music makers, the artists, the singers from those days to say, look, how did you make it? We all can't sing. Some of us who can sing, we've never signed a record deal, never had a hit single, and we've never been in the game. So this is a story about the journey and the highs and lows and, what to look out for going forward. So
okay, I
did a little intro about you being, the groups and production stuff, but it'll be good to hear from you. I mean, where you're from, and because I've got an international audience, so I know you're American, but what parts?
From Columbus, Georgia, USA.
Okay, Columbus, Georgia. Okay, I think most of us would know Georgia from Atlanta because that's probably like one of the big meccas of the South. But how far is Columbus from Atlanta?
Atlanta, about an hour and a half drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if the other two of the members of Basic Black, original members, told you, but us three came from Columbus. It was
KB.
Yeah, we came from Columbus.
Do you know when they said they came from Columbus? I thought it was Columbus, Ohio.
No, Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah, so in my head I thought Columbus, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. So now you've cleared that up. That makes sense because when they told us that when Gene went to Atlanta to Georgia, they went with him. And I said, well, that's Georgia and Ohio, quite some distance, but now it kind of makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so, Gene from Columbus too.
Okay, now that I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to Gene and stuff, but how did you get up and start off in music?
Well, I had a phone call coming in.
Okay.
Did it? Okay, yeah. Actually, my whole family kind of played instruments. I had it was me and three more brothers, but all four of us played bass guitar.
Okay.
So it was hard to start our own band because everybody wanted to play bass.
Why bass?
Yeah, and bass, and I played drums. I had another brother play drums too. So I got started by my older brother. He had brought home a acoustic guitar, and when he go to work, I would pick it up and start feeling around with it. And when he get off work, we had to put it up and shine it up like didn't nobody touch it.
Okay. But then where would you guys play?
Well, coming up, I actually I was playing. I was just playing at home, and then with my brother, we was backing up talent shows in Columbus. And I had a good friend named Mike, and he was in the group with Spec and KB first. It was like mid-'80s. So Mike, I think, quit the group, and he was ventured off to different field, and he introduced me. He like, yo man, I got a good friend that I go to school with named Mucho. He played bass, so I wanted y'all to hear him. And I went audition for him, and then they liked me and joined the group. But it wasn't Basic Black then. They changed the name. We changed the Basic Black, I think, after a month or two after I got in. It was like some names in a hat. And I actually think the guy that came up with that name was Antoine Payton.
Okay.
I think he dropped Basic Black in the hat, and then, you know, somebody pulled the name Basic Black, and I'm like, hey, so it stuck with everybody. So,
Okay.
you know, we were Basic Black in the hometown. We were playing at clubs down in Columbus.
So, but because back in those days, just if I'm not mistaken, because this is before Diesel came in, were you guys just more of a band like Earth, Wind and Fire, or did you have a lead singer? Were you guys singing?
Yeah, we had a lead singer named Terrence Murphy, T. Murphy.
Okay.
He was the lead singer. And yeah, we had like a 5-6 piece band, lead singer and everything.
Did you have at that point? Did you have a sort of a vision of we want to be like Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind and Fire, Atlantic Star, or what were you time? What were you looking?
It was kind of a split between the Minneapolis sound with Prince and the time, and you know, I was the big deal fan, Babyface fan.
Okay.
So you know, it was kind of a split. So you know, when we actually joined together to do original music, it would sound like you know, Minneapolis and Babyface.
Okay. And so then, how far did you think you were going to get to? Did you think you'd actually make it, or what was the plan? Was it like just for fun?
Yeah, I always thought we would get eventually get a deal. But you know, sometimes when you move one step forward, you get knocked 2 steps back. So, and then, but you know, every now and then there was some doubt. But then, you know, I always thought like, you know, I got to get back in it, you know, and I kept pushing forward. But I always had a feeling that one day I would be on some major label.
Okay. So then, you know, I heard a story about how, you know, you guys go down to New York and meet up with Gene and Today and stuff like that. For you, what was it like when you moved to New York? Because you're from Georgia. What was that?
It was like moving to Mars, man. Cause we some country boys, and we moved all the way up to New York City. Like we passed Atlanta and DC, Philly, and all the way up to New York. And when we got to New York City, man, it was like moving to a different planet. Like, everything was fast up there.
But was it intimidating, or what? Did you appreciate it, or was it hard?
Oh no, it wasn't intimidating. It was just it was just exciting. I was just taking everything in, like the sounds and the visuals, you know, the big buildings and you know, the sounds of the city. So it wasn't intimidating because we were lost in the height of being in New York City.
Yeah.
So you know, we probably was in danger, but we didn't realize. We were just looking up. We were just in awe, man, just looking up at big buildings and listening to the different cultures that was in New York City, and you know, crimes right in front of our eyes. You know, we seeing guys getting mugged, and we looking at it, taking pictures. So it was crazy.
Then you finally meet up with Today, Big Bob, Gene, and Teddy. By this time, had Guy come out with Groove Me and everything? By the time you met Teddy and them?
Yeah, when I don't know if they told you, but we opened up for Teddy, Guy, and I think Rod Bass when they came to our hometown.
Okay. And
you know how we got to open up for that concert. It was a promoter down in our hometown, and like I said, we used to play behind talent shows. So you know, he said, you know, I can't afford the full price to pay y'all, but if y'all back the talent show, you know, I'll let y'all open up for the Guy concert. And we were like, yeah, we took that. We probably would have did it for no money. So when we opened up, you know, the concert, we did our cover song. We did we tried to do everything that Teddy produced, but not on Guy. So we did My Prerogative and you know, some others Just Got Paid.
Okay.
You know, so we couldn't perform Guy Today because they was there. So when we did My Prerogative, we started seeing heads peek out from behind the backstage. And then, you know, we saw Teddy head, then we saw Gene come peek out, then we saw Today. You know, so once we did that, we got off stage and they were like, man, like y'all the first group we heard that actually sound like the song.
Wow.
You know, Gene pulled up, he's like, yeah, man, I might want y'all to come to New York and play behind Today, you know, because everybody had a band except for Today. Today was doing tracks on the show.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, once we heard that, man, we just got anxious and we followed the tour bus, I think, for about 5 or 6 cities.
Wow.
So the band got to know us, Abe Fogle, Bernard Bell, Dinky Bingham, you know, even Aaron Hall, Damien, you know, every time they see us, oh, what's up? They'll call us Country Bumpkins. They would pull us on the tour bus, man. They welcome us in, man, especially Abe, man. You know, when we went to New York, you know, Abe let us stay downstairs, you know, till we got situated. And that was a guy drummer.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and I've seen him on I've seen your whole show playing and stuff.
Yeah.
But then, what? When you guys were playing, did what was it like watching Guy perform after you played your stuff?
It was like watching a machine, man. Like when that first note hit, it was like breathtaking. You know, cause we seen concerts come down there. We'll see Roger and Gap. Roger and Gap would come down there like 3 times a year. Okay. You know, but you know, when Guy came down there with the electronic, it was something different. And you know, and from there, you know, we just, you know, we were straight New Jack, so we forgot all about Minneapolis and the Babyface sound. Wow. We were straight New Jack after that.
So then, for you guys as musicians, and seeing Teddy and seeing, I'm sure you would have known he had done Kumo D, the Keith Sweat album, and all that stuff. Did you then say we need to learn from him when you got to New York, or was that opportunity afforded to you?
Yeah, most definitely. What happened was we let Gene, after the show, we knew where Gene's mom stayed, so he told us to meet him over his mom's house. So you know, he let us hear My Fantasy before it came out, like a rough mix of My Fantasy. We got our own thing by Heavy D. And like, man, he like, y'all got something, but I want y'all to listen to this. So he like, this is where the sound going. So he played that for us, and you know, and after that, you know, we went and revamped our demo, and we went to New York right after that. After we followed Guy around for like 5 cities, then they took a break. And so we drove to New York on that break.
And was it, because I've seen different stories, because I saw Gene in an interview saying that he told you guys to come and meet him at his mom's house, and then he brought you, because somebody asked him, how did you discover Basic Black? So yeah, I invited him over to my mom's place to sign them up. But then I also heard that you guys got to New York and he was surprised to see you guys, but gave you guys an opportunity.
Yeah, actually, we got to New York on the weekend, and Gene called Speck's mom house looking for us. Oh. And so, you know, I don't think anybody we didn't, you know, we didn't have a cell phone back in like 89, 88, 89. So Speck called home and his mom said, where y'all at? He was saying, hold on, baby. He was saying, we up in New York. And she said, well, Gene Griffin is calling down here looking for y'all. And we were right outside the office building. We had his address to the office on 5th Avenue. And we were like, we stand on the payphone, you know, outside the office building. And it was on the weekend. So she called, when Gene Griffin called back, she told him where we were. And he said, stay right there. You know, he on his way. So it was on the weekend when he met us. Wow. So, you know, we met him at the payphone, and we followed him to a Best Western. He put us up in a Best Western. Wow. And he told us that he just fired the band for Today. So he just fired him. He said, but we keeping one guy. He said, if y'all don't want him, I send him home. So we listened to him, and you know, we decided to keep him. It was Ray Watkins.
Okay. And what was he? What did Ray play?
Ray played keyboards.
So then, okay. So what was so I know KB was on the drums. What was Specs on?
Spec keyboard.
Okay. And then you were bass.
Bass. Yeah. Then we had another keyboard. We had a female keyboard player that came up with Basie Black.
Okay. Yes, she's a doctor now. The one that drove you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, so you guys were like a band, but you didn't think about, what about your lead singer at this point?
Well, we didn't have a lead singer at the time, and I think Spragg was with us, Spragg Doogie. I think he followed you too. He's with us too. So actually, Spragg was doing production with us, and at the time we was gonna put Lucretia out front. Lucretia, the female out front as lead vocal, and you know, we ran that idea by Gene. He's like, "Nah, man." He said, "I got somebody for y'all." So we went at one of Guy rehearsals. We met the drum tech, and it was Diesel.
Oh, Diesel was a drum tech.
Diesel to say, yeah, he was Guy drum tech.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why they didn't tell y'all. I don't know why they didn't tell you the whole story, but
no, because I think no, because the interview was mainly about the group and where they are. So you know, and I guess so okay, I didn't know Diesel was a drum tech. Okay.
Yeah, Diesel was the drum tech for Guy, and when Gene introduced him to us, he asked him to sing something, and first note came out of his mouth, man, it was like ear piercing.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow. He was like, yeah, man. That was Gene. Yeah, man. I told you. So from that point on, we had to figure out a way to tell the female that we was changing directions with the group, you know. But it kind of worked out. I don't think we, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think listening to Diesel, I mean, he's probably on par with Aaron Hall when it comes to vocals. They
was in a group together.
In what way?
Diesel, Aaron Hall, and Dinky Bingham. I don't know if you remember this group called the Jamaica Boys with Marcus Miller.
No.
When you get a chance, look up the Jamaica Boys.
Okay.
And the guy that's singing lead on there, that's guy MD, musical director. His name is Dinky Bingham.
Okay.
And vocal wise, him, Aaron, and Daryl Diesel, they sound exactly alike, man. And it was those three. They was in a group together before.
Wow.
Before Guy.
My goodness.
Yeah. So Diesel and Aaron are actually, I think they're actually cousins.
Okay.
I mean, Diesel said he cousin, and Aaron would say that's my cousin. So.
Okay.
And they was in a group way before Guy and Basie Black.
Okay. Yeah, I think when I look at the three big male singers of those eras, Big Bob naturally is probably like a powerhouse consistency.
Yeah.
Diesel and Aaron also, and I think because Aaron was fortunate to be in Guy, he had the bigger hits, so he's known.
Yeah.
But, you know, but I think that all three of them are really, you know, have a different sound. So Diesel sings, you guys say, yeah, we're going to join in and stuff. How did you guys get along then? I mean, because this is one thing to have a good voice, but it's also about the three of you have come from Columbus. You've kind of grown up together, and now you've got this New Yorker coming in to join in. Did that upset the chemistry?
Yeah. No, we kicked it off pretty good. You know, Daryl, once he met us, he left New York, and when we came back to Georgia, he came back with us.
Okay.
We went back to our hometown. He met everybody's family, you know, and you know, my mom took him in as a son. He called my mom, and you know, man, you know, as soon as he moved down, and we kind of always thought he had a little southern feel to him anyway. So Diesel got family down south, so that's how he knew how to blend in down south. Okay,
so then, did you guys think, okay, we want to go in? Were you guys going to be molded into the image of Guy and Today, or what was the idea between what they wanted to do with Basie Black?
Yeah, we kind of figured we was going kind of fit in between Guy and Today, but you know, when we got home, we heard that Guy was leaving Gene, and you know, so after that, I think Gene kind of like, hold on one second, yeah, the phone call came in again. So after that, Gene kind of like pushed us more towards the Guy sound, the New Jack Swing. It was more of the New Jack Swing sound.
So
yeah, but that's when Gene, when he lost Guy. So you know, we kind of,
how long before you joined until Guy separated from Gene? How long did you guys have working with seeing Guy and Teddy and being part of the GR production as a group?
Well, when we as soon as we moved up to New York, I learned the MPC, the drum machine. So I started doing beats. Me and Spec, and we would send them to Gene on cassette tape. And I remember one beat we sent to him on cassette tape, and next thing you know, we hearing it on this group called Star Point.
Okay.
So it was the same beat me and Spec did and the same keyboard. So, but we didn't care if we didn't get no credit. We were just happy to hear our, you know, drum beat and melody on and we were like, yeah, we did that. We sent that beat to Gene. Man, so you know, we were just happy, you know, that somebody took our, you know, melody and redid it and put it on a signed artist.
But then, how much time did you have working with, say, Gene or Teddy before the split?
Oh, well, the split came. We went to I think we went to New York in the summer. We did the tour. As soon as we got there, we was in rehearsal hall like that next Monday, and so we would rehearse in one room. Guy would rehearse in the next room. So as soon as we got there, we was in the mix. We're like, Teddy would come and see us. You know, he'd be feeling the vibe. Aaron would come, Bernard Bell would come, you know, and Bud would invite some of his friends, Heavy D.
Wow.
You know, yeah, he Eddie F. And you know, they would come see us. Then after we rehearse, we'll go sit in with Guy rehearsal, and you know, it was like one big family. So we was like that all the way up to December.
But how was it then? You're seeing Heavy D and the boys coming in.
Man. Well, Big Bug took me to see Heavy D up in Mount Vernon.
Okay. To his house.
Yeah, after rehearsal one day. We got in the car. I got in the car with Big Bug, and he like, I'm gonna take you somewhere. I like, where we going? He like, just ride. So we go to Mount Vernon and Heavy D on the corner, and we get out, start talking to Heavy D, and he introduced me to Heavy D, and I started talking. They were like, wow, he's country. So and this one girl said, she said, he's so country. She said, but I like it. So, you know, then, you know, we get back in the car, we go to New Jersey, and we go to Eddie F. condo, and I think he was staying with I think he was dating Spinderella at the time. That's good. So, you know, and then we go and meet Spinderella. Buck took me to meet Spinderella, Eddie F. Some more people. I forgot a few of them though.
But how was it for you just seeing all these people that you're seeing on TV and
it was speechless. I didn't want to seem like a groupie, but deep down inside, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Sinead, oh my God.
I mean, how was Heavy? How was Heavy though? No meeting him.
Oh man, he was down to earth, man. He was just like, you know, regular dude you see on the street. He real down to earth, man. I mean, he had like he knew me, you know, from a while back, and then when I got to work with him again in Virginia Beach with Teddy, he remembered me. Okay.
No, so we'll get to the...
That was about like a 4-year gap that he still remembered me.
Yeah. So during the summer, you guys are part of the sort of the machine, almost like a little Motown. And was Zan there and Deja?
Zan, yeah, Zan, Rex in Effect.
Deja?
Deja. No. Deja wasn't signed to GR Production. It was the 3-girl group. What's their name?
Abstract.
Wanda. Yeah.
Abstract.
Wanda,
Yeah. With Mary
Abstract.
Brown and
Rex in Effect. Today, Redhead Kingpin.
Oh yeah, Redhead. Yeah.
And so Redhead was part of the family too. So Bub introduced me to him. Redhead. We was over in New Jersey. We met at this club one time. He like, I want you to meet somebody. I like, who? He said David Guppy. So I didn't know his real name at the time. So we pull up. I like, oh. I screamed out that time. Oh my God! I like that's Redhead, bro. So yeah, we hung above. Had me something everywhere, man.
Who sang the hook of "Do the Right Thing"? Was that Bub?
That's Bub, Big Bub. Actually, Bub is singing on My Prerogatives too. If you listen, so Bub was kind of like in the mix with Gene. Everything like Teddy would produce, they would use Bub vocally. So you'll hear him on a lot of songs. My Prerogative. If you know his voice, you can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear
Aaron. He was on Just Got Paid.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Both of them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So but had they done the first Today album by the time that you guys showed up? Were they working on the second album?
They was finished with the first one, and Teddy was actually remixing singles as they release them. Take It Off had a remix. The only one they didn't remix was him and Me. I guess they didn't think Him and Me needed a remix. I guess they made an extended version, but he never remixed it.
Okay.
So,
I mean, so you guys first had this whole idea you wanted to be like the Deal and Time, and then you're watching Teddy, who, he must have been a young kid, but very young. What was it like watching him in those early days, those months that you were there?
Man, it was like unbelievable, and that was kind of like the first celebrity we saw when we actually went to New York. We was driving down one of the highways, and we glanced over on the other side of the highway, and we saw Teddy in a red M3 BMW. and we was expect so like that's Teddy. I'm like, no, it ain't. He said it was Teddy, and I glanced and I saw a figure, but I said after that wasn't Teddy. So come to find out, when we get to rehearsal the next day, he pulled up in a red M3 BMW. So it was him.
Okay, but there's I mean, so where we started was that so this was when you guys you meeting Teddy. What was it like seeing him? And not just a person, but more so the fact that he was just producing hit after hit, hit after hit.
We couldn't believe all that was coming from that young kid, man. So we just be sitting up in their rehearsal just in awe, just like wow, and just couldn't believe it till we actually saw it in person.
Was he always? I mean, was he always in the studio just creating music, or what was he?
Yeah. He was busy when we was up there. If it wasn't rehearsal, him and Gene would be in the studio, producing somebody. And I think when we was up there after rehearsal, they would go they was doing the Jackson 5 project at the time, the 2300
Jackson Street. Yeah.
Yeah, and they was doing that at the time we was up there.
Okay, and so for you guys then, what was the focus? So you've got Teddy doing all this stuff. What was it that basically Black were doing? Wow.
But yeah, Gene already had told us that if we play behind Today, that he would give us a record deal once we got off the road. So after rehearsal, if we wasn't hanging out, with Big Bub or Guy or Gene, and we would be at the hotel doing original music.
Okay. Now, how was that part? So the writing part. So what was were you guys coming up with the music, or were you coming up with the lyrics? The four of you. What was that like?
We was I was the only one that knew the MPC at the time. So I was learning the MPC in the hotel. Like I would lock myself in the room and just learn the MPC. It was, like I said, we came from Columbus to New York, so the only drum machine I knew about at the time was a Lisa's. When Gene put that big old MPC, a Kaya MPC in my face, I knew I had some homework to do.
Now, so we've got a lot of people who aren't producers or musicians, so they may not understand what an MPC is. So what exactly is it?
It's a drum machine that triggers, you can record MIDI notes from keyboards, you know.
Okay.
And the MPC would send the whatever you record in it back out to the keyboard to loop it, you know, just to sequence it.
Okay.
So, you know, so it had drum sound, it was a sampler, you could sample stuff into it. Okay. And it also was a control of the other keyboards.
Wow.
So whatever you play in it.
Yeah. But prior to that, what were you guys doing in Columbus? How were you guys making music in Columbus compared to the MPC?
It was like going straight to audio tape. Like it was live.
Okay. Okay.
So if you messed up, you got to rewind and go back to the beginning.
Okay.
But with the MPC, if you messed up, you can start right there, or either just, you know, click in the edit mode and just take a bad note out, put the right note in, and then press play with the MPC.
Okay.
But when we was in Columbus, we was like old school.
Okay. Now Spec said he didn't get into the MPC, but he said that. But you said this is something you got into. So then, what was it that what was the first type of stuff that you guys recorded to present to Gene?
We was doing just ideas for him, and you know, he told us just send me ideas. They wasn't for Basic Black, but they were for other artists that was coming through GR Production. So, and actually, when we started doing ideas, this guy named Timmy Arthur, he the one taught me MIDI. So I got to give a shout out to him. Call him Artie Hoyle. So he taught me MIDI, and once I learned MIDI, it was a wrap from there. And so we, you know, me and Spec would sit at the drum machine, you know, do a few ideas, and then we, you know, after we did a few demos, you know, for Gene, we'll go out and get some pizza, enjoy the city, come back, and we was all in one studio apartment, and we'll come back. The drum machine was set up in the living room.
Okay. Okay.
And we'll come back and do a few more ideas. And at the time, we had to go out of the mixer straight into a cassette deck, and we record into a cassette deck and take the ideas over to Gene. And you know, we didn't think about doing Basic Black until he said, till we moved back to Georgia. Gene, he told us one day, I'm moving the company to Georgia, man. We went crazy. We was going crazy. So, and we thought everybody was, you know, he went down and had the houses picked out for Guy, you know, so we thought everybody was coming to Georgia. So we went home for Christmas, and we got down there, and Gene showed us the houses, and, you know, he said, y'all gonna have one like this one day.
But so the stuff that you guys were mixing, the ideas, where were they going to? Because maybe Teddy was so busy he couldn't produce everybody, so Gene would take some.
Gene bought me a crate of vinyls, so I had the same crate Teddy had. Okay. And it was like a wide leather briefcase, probably about 12 by 8 inches wide or 10 inches wide, with nothing but instrumental break beats in them.
Wow.
So Gene bought Teddy one, and he bought me one. And so I would chop the sounds up, put them in the MPC, you know, on my off time, and just make samples.
So were you guys sampling old tracks to make new music?
Yeah, like old James Brown, you know, and old stuff from the 70s, okay. Lynn Collins, stuff like that.
But you won't go too far as to do proper sampling, or would they, because I know clearance and everything, or did you learn how to just take enough not to make it sound like the original?
Yeah, it was. I usually just sampled the drums, and what I would do, I would chop the drums up. I would make like if I got a drum loop, I have a kick from that loop, snare, hi-hat, and probably maybe a percussion from that same loop, and I would play it back in different.
Mm. Okay. So, but during those times when you guys were doing that, did any of you mentioned one of your tracks with another group, but did you hear any more stuff that you guys were creating that went to other artists that you without credits?
I think that was the only one at the time, because he was working on Starpoint close to the time Gene was getting ready to move the company to Georgia. But we quite sure he would have used some more stuff. But you know, we knocked out Starpoint, I think, before the turn of the year. And then Gene said we moving to Georgia around New Year. And you know, he still had some ideas from us. But you know, as soon as we got back to Georgia, that's when the split happened.
Could you see anything happening while you guys for Christmas to show that there was some issues happening?
We heard stuff, but we didn't want to believe it, because Gene was telling us different. But we were hearing, you know, from other people like, you know, they guy about to leave Gene, and you know, but Gene was telling us, you know, nah, everything's good. Guy ain't going nowhere, and you know, we're gonna be one big family down here in Georgia.
What about today, Bob? Today and those guys. Were they in the middle as well?
Yeah, they Gene said everybody said the whole company was coming to Georgia.
But then when the split happened, what happened to today?
I think today followed Teddy. It was either Teddy or Gene.
Okay.
So, you know, being that today knew Teddy longer than they knew Gene, you know, a few of them stayed up in New York and New Jersey with Teddy. And us and Zan came down south with Gene.
Okay.
And Timmy Arthur. He had Timmy Arthur as the artist too. He was a real talented guy.
Okay. But then for you guys, before the split though, did you think that did you get enough? I mean, did you get to even see Teddy work before the split?
Well, yeah, once I learned the drum machine, I feel we had enough to do you know, anything we wanted musically.
Oh,
because
okay.
we was kind of talented too as a group.
Okay. So you guys moved back to Georgia. You hear about the split. Did you feel as if how was it like knowing when the split actually did happen? Guy and half Bob, who you seem to have had a good relationship with, going to one side, and how did it feel for you?
It kind of felt down for a minute, you know, because we were looking forward to be like that GR production, you know, New Jack Swing family, and you know, we didn't take it too good at first, but you know, at the end of the day, we knew we had a job to do too. So
yeah. So is it when you guys moved to Georgia that he was able to get you? Did he try and get you to Motown, or was he saying, "Well, I'm going to release you independently"?
Yeah, he released us independently first on his label. It was Sony. It was called The Sound of New York.
Okay.
And Gene had and then he had GEG Entertainment. So it was either Sound of New York or GEG. And I think he put She's Mine out first on GEG, and he released those to the radio.
Okay.
And then he changed it to Sound of New York. And he put it out nationwide on Sound of New York. And then Motown picked up Sound of New York, and that's what got us on Motown.
So when you guys, so like, I think there's the two big ones that I knew was She's Mine and Nothing But a Party. The first thing was She's Mine. Who did the sort of the writing and then the production on that?
We wrote that in the project. It was actually me, Daryl, and KB. We penned it. We wrote the lyrics. Me and Spec did the music. I did the beat. Spec did the keys. And me, Darren, and KB wrote it. And we were actually in the projects.
In New York?
No, in Columbus.
Okay, you guys have projects in Columbus. Okay.
Yeah, we was over my sister's house in the projects, and that's where we started She's Mine at.
Okay. Now, did you then think we could try and sample the sort of the New Jack sound, or did Gene say, "Look, I want you guys to sound like Guy and Today," or what was the feeling around the drums and the stuff?
Yeah, he told us he wanted New Jack. He said it got to be New Jack. And
Okay.
like I said, I had the same crate samples that Teddy had.
Okay.
So you know, I didn't ask, you know, Teddy what sample should I use, or you know, I just went through the crate on my own. And at the time, Gene was kind of playing us against each other, you know, once he knew Guy wasn't coming back. But at the same time, you know, Teddy was reaching out, sending messages to us. Don't sign with Gene. Yeah, don't sign with Gene. I want y'all to come to New York. And, you know, of course we couldn't tell Gene that.
Oh, okay. So he was still trying to be with you guys.
Yeah, I just think at the time he didn't want Gene to be successful. So but he was sending messages down. We knew the same people that, like, man, Teddy wants y'all to call him. And, you know, yeah, he said he got something for y'all. He don't want y'all to sign to Gene.
But did you guys have a conversation about that and decide, or what was it? Did you how did that go?
We talked amongst ourselves, but we decided to stay because we was at home with family, and we figured Gene was the money man. So I mean, you know.
Okay, and you know, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's hard to trust and everything. I guess Gene kind of, you knew his mom. He called for you guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so what about Nothing But? Okay, if we get to Nothing But a Party, who did the writing and production of that?
Okay, Nothing But a Party was done when Gene moved us back. We was when we first came from New York, everybody went to our hometown, Columbus. So Gene said, after the holidays, I'm gonna find y'all a spot up in Atlanta, close to me. So we just, there's like a production house. We knock out music, then we go in the studio, and that's exactly what started happening. So after the holidays, everybody came back up to Atlanta, and he moved us to Duluth. It was us, Diesel, Zan the Man, and Zan had his girlfriend staying with him at the time, and Artie and Sprague. And like one music house, man. In the morning we get up, eat breakfast. If Artie wasn't on the drum machine, I would be on it. And we had it set up in the living room again. And if we was doing music, Zan would go running with his girlfriend. And then when we got through, with Basic Black got through, either Zan or Artie would get on the drum machine. And so and we did Nothing But a Party because there was a club in our hometown called City Lights. And we actually, the owner used to let us in like free when we was at home. And we just told him one day, man, we gonna write a song about the club. And he thought we were playing, oh man, nah, y'all just bullying, y'all just BSing. Yeah. And we went back to Atlanta and we wrote the Nothing But a Party song.
Yeah, the only song we know is City Lights, yeah.
Yeah. And I was on the drums. I did the drums. I did a little bit of keys. Spec did a lot of the keys. And the writing was me, KB, Diesel, and Gene actually put in some fill-ins. He the one told us to throw the only party we know. The only party we know is City Lights.
Well, okay.
But we actually called the song Nothing But a Party after the club City Lights.
Okay. It's funny because I that's probably one of my favorite New Jack tracks for many years. And it was a track that I thought, oh man, I'm sure Teddy produced it because it was, it's really, that really powerful stuff. But has he ever told you guys about what he thought about the track? Years later, or even then?
Years later, he told me, because he sent for me after Basic Black split with Gene. Teddy finally got in touch with me and flew me up to Virginia Beach. So when I got there, he like, man, he like I always wanted to tell y'all, man, y'all album was really nice. He said y'all had a lot of talent. I always wanted y'all under me. So that's what he told me up there in Virginia Beach. But yeah, he say he loved the album. He was crazy about like Nothing But a Party, She's Mine. Those are two of his favorites.
Yeah. Okay, that's really good to hear. So here you guys have recorded the stuff. These are those amazing vocals on it. She's Mine comes out. They get a remix with CL. Did you and then Motown come picking you guys up? How was it for you guys? Did you feel like, yep, we're finally here? The money started coming in.
Once we met Stevie Wonder, we realized, once we saw Vine Street and met Stevie and some more artists up at the Motown building, we were like, okay, it's sinking in now. We finally made it.
But then what? I'm surprised the album didn't do bigger than it did. What do you think? What was wrong?
Well, after that album, we kind of like start questioning, asking questions, and when are we gonna see some royalties and stuff like that. And then Gene started trying to play us against each other, and he started pulling back on promotions. And I think once Motown got whiffed of it, they start pulling back off it too, because they feel it's going to be another Gene and Guy situation that split up. So we right after we finished the first album, Gene immediately told us we need to start working on the second album. And we was like, wait a minute, man, where the royalties at from the first one? And we didn't know about royalties, we didn't know about the mechanicals and all that stuff. We just were happy, sign the contract, do videos, and get out there. And so we start questioning him about the money. Then he started, well, I asked him about the royalties. Then he was like, well, Motown don't want you. They just want the other three. I like, oh, really? So then I said, okay, I'm leaving then. So I walk out the meeting. Then he come out in the hallway and talk to me, get me to come back in the meeting, but it still went south, after that. And I didn't have to question Gene about the money, because I was getting everything I wanted anyway, because we was in the studio. Once we finished the first Basic Black album, I was helping Gene do other artists like Atlanta Rap Band and Pretty in Pink, and some more stuff he was doing. And Gene was paying me.
Okay.
And, I went and bought me a Mercedes. I had my own apartment with a loft. I didn't have to shop for clothes, but I, being that the other three members wasn't, living like me, I still went to bat for them. So I actually didn't have to question, but type of person I am, I asked them, what about the royalties for the first album?
Yeah. So, and I guess we've seen the New Edition, we've seen the TLC. I mean, I think most of us as fans did not realize about royalties and stuff until Left Eye at the Grammy says, we've sold 10 million albums and we have got no money. And I think that's when most of us thought, oh, we didn't know, because we see you guys doing videos and stuff and think, oh, you guys are all making loads of money. And I think Left Eye opened up the world to see, look, we're doing all this stuff, we got no money, and the business. And it's not just that the label, but it's also management can take some off it as well. Yeah,
I got a Left Eye story. Speaking of Left Eye, she was actually on Roughneck with MC Lyte.
Oh, in what parts?
She was actually on the second verse, but what happened when Pebbles heard the song, Pebbles said she wanted 80%
of the track.
Of the whole song. And so me, MC Lyte, Arkeel was going to have to split 20%.
You're kidding me? Just because Left Eye was on it?
Yeah. And so, MC Lyte turned it down. She did the whole song herself. And if you go to the House Party soundtrack, House Party song, Left Eye, the one Left Eye on, what she's saying is actually her verse she had on Roughneck.
Wow.
If you listen, she actually said Roughneck in the song.
Yeah. But we wouldn't have connected the two stuff. But
yeah, that's actually when MC Lyte pulled her off the song. She kept her verse and put it on the house party verse. So that it's word for word. So if you can find her acapella to that and put it on the second verse of Roughneck, that's what you had. So MC Lyte featuring Left Eye from TLC.
Wow, goodness. Well, she wanted. Go ahead.
I think it would have went platinum if it would have kept Left Eye on it.
But it was MC Lyte's biggest track back then, and it took it to another level because that was her biggest track. So in a sense, it would have overshadowed if she had MC Left Eye on it, because this is us watching MC Lyte taking on a track on her own, going gold, and knocking out doors. But if she's had somebody else on it, would be saying, "Oh, this is." I
think it would have touched another market. I think it would have touched that pop market with Left Eye on it.
Yeah. But we're going to come into your production stuff. But I guess we're just a lot of us. But what I brought on Left Eye was because the world started to understand that artists weren't fairly paid. But also we started to hear, you mentioned Pebbles and TLC have mentioned about how Pebbles had a deal which she signed with LaFace, meant that she gets some of the money. We've seen the New Edition story. So you've had Gene, who Teddy is saying, look, leave Gene because he's going to take your money, look at what he's doing to us. And then you start to question him about royalties and stuff, and he's playing you guys. Did you then think, it's this basic black, you've done one album, you still had the opportunity to do another album. How did you guys decide to call it quits? Was it because you guys were having infighting among yourselves, or was it because you're like, we're not going to make it with Gene, or what was the decision?
Yeah, we stood together, so we weren't fighting amongst each other, but we just figured, like, it's not going to get any better, like the more money he get, the more he gonna want. So we decided to just take a break.
Well, you guys know so I've heard stories from others who've been around. Fat Man Scoop, was he around when you guys were in New York? Did you notice it?
I don't remember Fat Man Scoop.
He said he was friends with Markel and Rex and Effects, so he was part of their sort of group. But he interviewed Teddy a couple of months ago and said how Gene was the Suge Knight before Suge Knight kind of thing.
Gene was the first Suge Knight.
Yeah, and in fact, Suge Knight learned from Gene how to do stuff. Did you guys feel threatened at all, yourself personally?
Not me. I came up differently from the other three, so that's why when I said me and Gene had the little altercation, I stepped out in the hall. He asked me to step out in the hall, and I stepped out in the hall. So then he started talking to me like, man, come on, do the second album, man. Motown waiting on it. So, but not me, but the other three may have been, a little frightened from it. But I said, I was from the projects. I came up from the projects. So yeah, I don't, even though I knew his past, I just, it ain't easy for, I just don't get scared like that from knowing about somebody's past.
Yeah. So when you guys decided to split the group, then did you continue with Gene after the group disbanded, or what did you end up doing?
No, we kept working. We kept doing music as Basic Black. Oh, and, but we couldn't. We were doing music as Basic Black, and we couldn't find nobody that would go against Gene to get us out the contract. To work with us. Everybody was scared of Gene.
Wow.
Until we met this, one lawyer that said, I can find breaches in your contract and I can get you out of your contract. And by that time, everybody had grew apart. And we just went our separate ways. It took a while, so we was gone from the game probably a year or two.
Okay, so what were you guys doing?
Just kept doing production.
But you were doing it separately, or as?
Yeah, we were working separately.
Okay. So when he finally got you, the lawyer got you guys out of the contract?
Yeah, the lawyer got us out, and by that time, you know, we was dismantled then, so it wasn't no more Basic Black.
Okay.
And so immediately after we got out the contract, I got that call from Virginia Beach.
Okay. So then Teddy reaches out, and what are you thinking about when he's calling you to come down to Virginia? And this was around what year was this?
91, 92.
So 91, 92. So has he finished doing the Michael Jackson album, and he's working on the Bobby album? Has he finished the Bobby album?
Yeah, he's working on Blackstreet first album.
Okay. So he calls you out. So did you think were you ready to leave Georgia to move out to Virginia, or what was your?
Oh yeah, I was ready to go.
Okay.
He picked me up from the airport. He sent his assistant to pick me up, and they brought me to the studio, brought me into the A room, and showed him I had arrived. They're like, good. He like turned around, like glad to see you. He said, I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. So they took me in the lounge while he was finished mixing one of Blackstreet songs. And then once he finished, he came in and talked to me, told me about what he want me to do. Showed me B room. Says is equipped it with he was on an Atari computer at the time, but he was running Logic. And he said, trust me, once you learn this, you're gonna put the MPC, Akai MPC down. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So he showed me, and eventually I put the MPC in the closet.
Okay. So who was in Virginia did you recognize anyone when you got to Virginia?
I recognized his bodyguard, Seafood, Markel. Who else was there at the time? Just Seafood and Markel. Seafood is his old bodyguard. But
there was no Bob wasn't there, because I know Bob was on the Bobby album, but Bob wasn't there, and Abstract.
No, Bobby had just finished, but I knew Bobby from Atlanta.
Okay, so no, but because when I spoke to John Marie, he was talking about all the, he said that Tammy Lucas and Mary Brown and Bernard Bell,
yeah,
everybody was.
Lucas. I remember Tammy Lucas was there too. So Seafood, Tammy Lucas, and Markel, Teddy's brother.
Okay. So
I met them three in New York.
Okay, so you guys so the first thing you were doing is starting to work on the Bobby album and stuff. Sorry,
Blackstreet. I got that
Blackstreet.
after Bobby.
Okay, the Blackstreet album.
Yeah.
So what did he bring you to particularly do on the album?
He just told me to work with this writer, one of the members in the group. He introduced me to Chauncey Black.
Okay.
We sat in I think Teddy had a Mercedes at the time. Teddy would give us songs to write to. So me and Chauncey would pen songs. And then, then after that, then I go in B room and do a beat. And then Chauncey and Levi would write to it. So, he introduced me to those two at first. And actually I met Joe Stonestreet, but Stonestreet didn't come to the studio until he was needed to do vocals.
Why is that?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
He just needed his me time.
Okay.
But I would see Levi and Chauncey there a lot, so they stayed in the studio.
Okay. So then which other tracks did you contribute? Did you do most of your contribution on that first album?
Well, I did a Baby Be Mine remix, but it got titled for somebody else's production. So when I asked him about it, he said, "Oh, my assistant put the wrong information down," and I was like, okay. So that was the first one, so I let that slide. Then the second album I worked on Your Love, the joint called Your Love on there, and some more remixes.
Okay. Yeah, no, so I've recognized your name from a lot of the Blackstreet stuff. But so from his first album, you do the first album. Then what else? First Blackstreet album. Then what else were you doing?
Oh, he would tell me, okay, I got Heavy D coming down. You know, they need a remix for this song. He'll play it for me. And like, okay, then I go in B room, do an idea, present it to him, and give it to him. And actually, I'm probably one of the few producers that Teddy would leave alone in the studio that wouldn't touch like a sound or anything. It was me and maybe Sprague, but all the other producers, he would come in and have to go behind and fix a snare or something like that. But I'm probably one of the only producers that he didn't have to do that to.
Did you bring Sprague with you, or how did Sprague?
Yeah, Sprague came. Sprague was our keyboard tech when we went to New York. No,
but when you went to Virginia, did you say, Sprague, I'm going to Virginia, and he came with you?
After I got settled, I sent for Sprague, and I sent for my best friend, Tim Smith, was kind of like my manager, assistant at the time. So Sprague and Tim Smith. Once I got settled in my own place, I sent for those two. And
okay.
We was kind of like the Three Stooges.
Okay.
And then after that, once I got settled and I was getting ready to work on my own group, I sent for Diesel.
So was it 9/11 or was it 911? What was the
911?
Okay, not 9/11, 911. So yeah. How did that come about?
Actually, it was started by Mike Conception.
So Teddy talks about him quite a bit, like the guy who connected him with Michael and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, Mike Conception actually put me with one of his producers, Dimitri Ship, which actually helped Teddy on some Michael Jackson stuff on the album. And so Mike Conception had meets, and he told him, I'm doing a group called 911. I want you to, join in with him. And that's when I met Dimitri Ship. And we were actually looking for a third member. So I called Diesel down.
Okay. And so were you supposed to sing on that? Because I didn't realize you were a singer. Were you supposed to sing on it?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not really a singer. I was just enjoying most of the production. And Dimitri Ship is a hell of a producer too, so it made it easier for me and him to join up together. So, but Diesel and Meech was gonna be in charge of the vocals, and Dimitri's a hell of a vocalist too.
Yeah, I've seen Dimitri Ship yeah, I've seen his name on a number of credits with Teddy's credits, stuff like that.
Tupac, he did some Tupac stuff too.
Okay, so but why would they want you to be in the group if you couldn't sing?
It was I mean, at the time it was just like a chemistry thing. Like me and Meech got along real good together, and then Mike liked me too. Mike Conception, he liked me. Mike liked me a lot, so. Me and Meech hooked up, and we were looking for a third singer, and I referred Diesel to him.
Okay, so the first thing you guys did was that Cutie,
but it took a while because after Mike and Teddy fell out, Mike went back to California, and Dimitri Meech Ship went back with him. So I had to replace. I had to try to find. I kept doing the group, which Mike was cool with. And so I called Rob. And Rob did it for a while. And I think Rob just didn't like the feel of everything. So but he laid his vocal on a few tracks. And that's when we he introduced us to Marcus Vance, Slim. And we ended up with me, Slim, and Diesel.
Okay. So what was Teddy's thought about what you guys were doing in 911?
Oh, he was with it. He wanted to sign the group. He wanted to sign the group, but he was taking us lightly. So, but he was doing a lot of stuff. He just had his hands in on too much stuff. And when we was doing 911, he heard it. He like, wow. He like, man, I want y'all to sign to LOR, Life of Riley.
Yeah.
We was like, cool. So we was doing the album, and he just kept, like delay and everything. So we released the song on Rob old label, which had the 69 bars. I forgot what's the name of the label. Rip It Records.
Rip It, okay.
And they sent it overseas. And so when Teddy and Blackstreet went overseas, they heard the song in the club.
Wow.
And he was like, "Who is that?" And they like this group called 911. He was like, "Wow." So as soon as he got back home, he sat down with us, you know, drew us up a contract, and like, you know, I want y'all to sign to LOR Records. But it took that single being released on Rip It Records, and they shipped it overseas. It just so happened Blackstreet was over there and they heard it. And when Teddy came back home, he had to make a deal. Of course, he had to make a deal with Rip It Records to get us on LOR.
Now, and it must have been hard because here he is. The first Blackstreet album did well. You know, especially Before I Let You Go. And then he's still producing lots of different acts. Then, you know, Rex and Effects. How does he have time then to start running a record label and stuff like that? So what were you guys doing in the interim? Were you still back into the production stuff, or?
Yeah, he had producers. Sometime I go to A room, Sprague will be in B room, Ty Fife will be in the other room.
Ty, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he had producers, Sprague, like I said, I mentioned Sprague. Then, you know, Ty had that New York flavor, and Sprague had a more melodic flavor than me because he's from the church.
Okay.
And then I kind of had that, like I could do a beat to make it sound exactly like Teddy. So, and actually we did that with a few labels.
And I guess that's probably, because I think one of the things that we you know, artists and producers could say, our name's not on the credit. But then I've spoken to some artists that say, you know, that a label would say, if we get produced by Teddy Riley or produced by Babyface or Timbaland, it adds some extra spice to the label and to radio and to the public. So sometimes they would almost say, well, if you're doing production on a Teddy, if we don't have his name on it, we may not be able to push it as much as we could if we just put your name. Did you guys notice that, and how did you receive that when your credits would be? Because I've heard even some of the hit men talk about how Puffy would have his name as a producer when he probably just came in and just said, "I like that," and then after he's one of the producers. What was it like for you guys?
Yeah, well, I knew the game was mostly politics a lot, so they knew if they had Teddy Riley stamp on it, that, you know, it would either sell more, you know, get more recognition, and we understood that. So I mean, he had built the name for himself, so, you know, sometimes we knew he had to put his stamp on him, but at the same time, we expect our stamp to be on there after his, and a lot of times that didn't happen.
Okay. You guys did riff. Judy had a boyfriend. Sorry.
Judy had a girlfriend.
Yeah, I think it's Judy had a boyfriend or something.
Judy had a boyfriend.
Yeah. Did you work on that? Did you work on that track? Okay.
Yeah, that's my. Actually, they got a riff. It's called Mucho Mix.
Okay.
Judy had a boyfriend, and on the title it said Mucho Mix.
Okay. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I when I interviewed Nitty, and he was saying, look, when they came out with their first album, they were all very pop, but when they came for the second album, they wanted to be like Jodeci. They really wanted that sort of Teddy sort of stuff, and they went with these kind of tracks, which the label says, okay, we'll push it, but it's, you know, but we, you know, so, and that was one of the tracks that came out and stuff. What was another track that you kind of did, not with Rick, but anyone that you're really proud of in those early days?
Really, well, all of them I'm proud of.
Yeah,
like
which one? Like which
mix, remix,
okay.
And the Queen Latifah Just Another Day remix, the Heavy D, it's like Mary J remix.
Which Mary J remix? Which one?
It was the Changes and My Love, but then again I didn't get no credit. But if it was put on, my assistant put the wrong info on there.
So that changed. That My Love, because I could tell you was doing a vocal on that, or was that you? Who did the vocal of on the My Love?
Actually, the vocals on that one is actually me, and I think Teddy may have added a few notes, but I didn't get any credit.
Okay. And I wonder if this is Uptown pushing the remix based on the producer's name and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you know, that he drew them in with his name. I'm trying to see that he get David Wynn any credit on that one. I don't know, but I know David Wynn should have been on there.
But the thing is that because we don't have CDs anymore, but your name, Sprug, David Wynn, Ty, all your names are very familiar to New Jack fans who read the credits. So so from us, it's not as if we don't know who you guys are because we read the credits. So we see the names working along. So we see Teddy's name there, but we'd see you guys alongside in various different parts of the production of those tracks. But then what was it? So you guys, the first time I heard about 911 was in a magazine.
The girl was looking good, like a lady should. I remember when I saw her. I saw her in the magazine. Her body's tight, her thing is right. Reminds me of a girl from around the way. I saw her in the magazine.
I heard you've been looking for me, digging me down, giving me nothing but peace. Please, you know where to find me when you need me. Queen P, got you charmed out like them trees, all anxious, like a carload full of D's. Impress D with the realism technique, automatically pulled you right into my league. Feel me as you indulge in your magazine.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I opened up that magazine. It was the finest girl I ever seen. I think I knew her face. I saw her hanging out around the way, watching all the players play. Whoa, her style sits off this glow, and when she walks, it's such a sexy flow. I think I wanna let her know that she's a bad man, just as fly as she can be. Oh, the girl was looking good, like a lady should. Like a lady should. Yeah, I saw her in the magazine. In a magazine. Her body's tight, her thing is right. Reminds me of a girl from around the way. Ooh, I saw her in the magazine. I often dream of us, and I can't believe so real, it gives me such a freaking thrill. I like to hold her hand and tell all the fellas I'm her man, but my dream came to an end. Now that she's on my mind, I just wanna make her mine. We'll be together till the end of time. Oh, make my dreams come true, then everything would be so cool, and I would never spend one night without you. The girl was looking good, like a lady should. I saw her in the magazine. Her thing is right. Reminds me of a girl from around the way. I saw her in the magazine. I can't explain what she's done to me, so fine that it's a crime. I want her in my life. She's one of a kind. That girl, she blows my mind.
Ain't no need for awakening, cause you're not dreaming. I mean, your optics be as clear like semen. It's me, squeaky clean, mentally and physically. I be the one to weigh you down like a triple B hook. On the low, never show it off like them other hoes. I let my appearance show and prove. That's my motto, boo. Styles of all types, sex appeal for life. Keeps it tight.
Like a lady should. Like a lady should. Oh,
because Queen Pen had just come out with the after Blackstreet's No Diggity, so she was featured on it. But it was actually who did the production on that, because it sounded like Teddy was doing a lot of the production on that. The sound.
Teddy did production on that, and what happened? They needed a. I had went back to Georgia for, you know, I had got mad, went back to Georgia for a little while with my manager because he was holding up the 911 project. So they
who was Teddy or your manager?
Yeah, Teddy.
Okay.
so they called me and said, "Yo, man, Teddy got this track that they need for the soundtrack. Can't nobody write nothing to." And I said, "Let me hear it." And, you know, they let me hear it. All right. And then the next day, me and my manager, we flew back up to Virginia Beach. Me, Diesel, I think Chauncey. Me and Diesel got it started. So, you know, I guess they couldn't find the right melody for us. So I got it started. Diesel helped out. And then Chauncey came in. And we actually finished the lyrics in probably 30 minutes then.
Wow.
But they couldn't find a melody to it for it at first. So once I could hear Diesel singing on it anyway, so I started penning it. And then once after that first verse, it just went from there.
And then after you guys recorded it, then did you know it was for the, I think it was something Strictly Business?
Nothing to Lose.
Nothing to Lose soundtrack.
It was supposed to be on our album too, because you know, this is what happened when Teddy signed 911. He was doing the Guy 3 album too.
Oh, okay.
So he went to Trinidad to do the Guy 3 album and left the Virginia Beach studio to 911. So me, Diesel, and Slim, we knocked the album out. And Teddy came home for a break, and he heard like 12 songs finished, and he couldn't believe it. So, but Guy wasn't finished at the time. So then he came back to us. He said, "Okay, he said, Interscope need 2 more upbeats from y'all." I said, "Okay, cool." So they go back to Trinidad. I go to Atlanta. We knock out one more upbeat, and we did the In the Magazine. He heard those 2. He couldn't believe it, so he tried to come up with another excuse. And he just kept coming up with excuses. And we heard that Jimmy Iovine wanted the album, but Teddy would never, give it to him. And Teddy told me one day, he like, "Man," he said, "if y'all come out, y'all may knock Guy out the box." And that's what he took. I said, "But we signed to your label," which didn't make sense to us. So he was worried about competition, but we was on his label.
So, but it was this because he'd left Blackstreet, went back to Guy. Did you guys? Cause I thought I saw your name on some of the Guy 3 tracks.
Yeah, actually, when he dismantled 911 album, he put the Misery song, which was 911. He put it on Guy. He did Rescue Me. We did that one. He put that on Guy.
Oh, Rescue Me, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was another song. I think he took like 3 or 4 of our songs off the 911 album and put it on Guy. But the vocals didn't sound nothing like Diesel vocals.
Yeah,
it was good songs though, but Diesel gave it that extra feel to it.
Wow. Okay. So after that happened though, how did it? So what did happen? What did that do to the relationship between you guys?
After that, I think Diesel stayed, because everybody was paying their own bills at the time. So Sprague and Diesel stayed in Virginia Beach, and I moved back to Georgia. But we kept in touch. Me, Sprague, and Diesel. Slim moved back to Florida, and we kept in touch.
And then, so what did you end up doing when you moved back to Georgia?
I started doing Teddy would call me every now and then. I need a song, Amerie. I did a joint on Amerie for him, and every now and then he'll call me and ask could I do my mix for certain artists, and I would do them. Fly back up, do the beat, and come back home.
Okay. But when you're not doing that, what was your plan about what you wanted to do going forward?
We was still trying to do the 911, but you know, by that time everybody had to find a way to pay the bill. So Diesel got on with Justin Timberlake, you know, Slim joined a local band back home doing clubs, and you know, I started doing, you know, local beats for people down here.
Okay. And so what sort of happened after, because I know that there was the opportunity to reform Basic Black a number of years ago. Did you initially join in?
We was talking about it, but Diesel didn't want to work with certain members at the time. So, you know, they was telling me that Diesel wants you out the group and he'll do it. But Diesel was telling me, no, it ain't you. It's another member I don't want to work with. So, but then, you know, after that didn't go through. So me, Diesel, and Slim started back talking about doing 911.
Okay.
And, you know, and unfortunately, you know, he passed. So, and, you know, we had talked 2 weeks before he passed. I was supposed to go down there, and then we were supposed to cut a song we was doing Computer Love over. And I had sent him the track, and he was getting ready to cut it.
Was his death a sudden death?
Yeah, I'm thinking it was COVID, because the way he died, that was before COVID hit. They said COVID started in March, but Diesel died in February. But his symptom was last year.
Oh, last year. Okay.
Yeah, so his symptoms was like, was it this year? February this year. Yeah, I think it was February this year.
Wow.
Yeah, 2020. And he died a month before that first case, but his symptom was COVID-like.
Yeah.
But they didn't know about it at the time.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. So he was fine. Just okay. But then were you ready to go back in a group situation, or how's production? Did you not want to continue behind the scenes? And I would have thought production is easier to spend time with family, you know, traveling and stuff like that.
It is, but I want to be back out on the major market. So, but you know, once you've been off the scene for a little while, people tend to forget about you. So, and then Atlanta is real. If you're not in with the right crowd, you know, they're hard to get in.
Wow. I mean, but what's it like now for you? What is it that you're working on?
Oh, I'm still doing the blackmail group, and we had started on that.
Blackmail or
blackmail?
Oh,
a male group called Blackmail.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, I actually did a video demo on Instagram last year, but as soon as we got ready to get started, that's when COVID hit.
Okay.
So, it was me, one of my nephews, Ty Styles, Dre Riley, which was one of the original members of Day One. What's the group Puffy had that was on that series? I think it's Day One, right?
Something about the music or something. Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, the band, the band.
Yeah, Dre Riley, and then I got Slim from 911. So we working on stuff separately right now. And but when I pull that video up and shoot it to you.
Okay.
It's called Blackmail. The group is called Blackmail.
Okay. And but so what are you looking to go independent, or what's the situation?
Yeah, we trying to come overseas. We're gonna bring New Jack. I'm gonna bring New Jack back. we heard y'all still like New Jack over there.
Yeah, but you know, it's not just here, because ever since Pastor Mike came out, it's on YouTube. It's just gone crazy with a lot of people who watched that and they've said, wow, look at this is how music used to be. And there's that sense of the vocals, the sort of the not hiding behind a production. I think that's one of the issues that a lot of people who are in their mid-40s who remember the 90s is that you had good music, but you had a story, you had the lyrics, and you had the vocals. I think what they're noticing now is that it's more sample, a lot of instrumentals, a lot of people auto tunes to sing all of this stuff. And so there's a disconnect. So with the type of music that people are interested in. So when Cassidy, so the first, when the verses came out, the Teddy Riley Babyface was the biggest one because they went back to their catalogs and people, I mean, Instagram couldn't even handle all the people that came in.
Yeah.
But since then, I think Versus has gone back into hip hop and people are turned off on it. So when Cassidy came out with Pastor Mike 2 and 3, especially 3, it was like, wow, this is the stuff of music we want. So the problem is that radio are playing what's being pushed by the labels. The labels are pushing the kind of beat maker music because it's cheaper to do. It's cheap. You don't need to develop the artist. You don't need to. You can just put anyone out that looks good, has 1 million followers on Instagram, and put out a record. It gets streamed. It gets played here. So they don't necessarily need to develop artists who can have vocals. They can just put out anyone who looks good, has a good following, and make money from them. So it's quite hard to get good quality music created and pushed. So how do you think you could? Because Bruno Mars did it, but he's already, he had the platform. How do you think you could bring New Jack to this type of audience?
Well, it's not gonna be all New Jack. You're gonna notice it's gonna be a New Jack beat, but it's gonna have some up-to-date melodies to it with the up-to-date vocals. So it's gonna be a mixture of New Jack 90s meet the 2020. But
if you did do a New Jack track with the horns and the drums that you would have done in 1990, 92, 93. How do you know that wouldn't work?
How I know it wouldn't work?
Yeah, because no one, I mean, Bruno did a little bit of it. He softened it a little bit, but how do you know it wouldn't work if you have the right vocals?
I don't know. I mean, everything's a gamma. Like you may have this song that you think gonna be a million seller, and you put it out there, it won't sell 10 copies. You don't know, but it's just a feeling that you got to have. Like I want to try this. And you put it out there and just just gamble with it. But it's kind of hard to pick a hit in these days. They people put out some trash and you like, oh, they're not gonna play that again. And next thing you know, you humming it along with it in the car because you heard it a million times.
Yeah. But then what's your plan? I mean, do you plan to create your own sort of platform to release your music, or do you think we'll probably try and get a label to listen to it and help us push it out? So what do you think you may end up doing?
No, I probably try to go independent first. Labels over here, especially R&B labels, they're like youth, so they can control young artists. Yeah. But they figure once you get up in age, they're like, oh, he won't want to read the contract and he's gonna be questioned. And that's why a lot of R&B artists come out young. But if you look at the pop artists over here, they come out 40, 50, some 60 years old, and they got a pop artist coming out. But R&B labels want to control you, so that's why they get young artists.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you too old to come out, but young artists just want a video and a flashy car.
Yeah.
And they won't ask for nothing else. And that's the reason why they won't get a more advanced in age artists, that because they figure they're gonna know the business and they're gonna start asking questions.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of talent in over here that got age on them, but R&B won't touch it.
Well, I mean, Charlie Wilson still has a recognizable voice and he's still able to push records. And I think if you do, it's a pity Diesel passed away, because I think he had one of the most remarkable R&B voices that we've heard. As I mentioned, I put him up with Big Bub and Aaron in that type of 90s sort of powerhouse voices and stuff like that. If you do have an artist, if you do have a member of your group who has a powerful voice, you can't compare like apples for apples, but you'd also then come up with a new jack track that people who are familiar with the 90s are like, I must have heard this from somewhere. You then find your own market and audience. But the problem is that if you try and replicate what's out there now and try and do a production that you would normally do for an artist on a major label, the problem is the major label knows how to get it on radio and force people to listen to it 100 times before they like it. Yeah. But if you
that's what I kind of had an idea. It's funny you said Charlie Wilson, because when we was meeting, when I was meeting with Basic Black, I was telling them that we should try to get on with Charlie Wilson crowd, like open, start off with something on that vein, and then go out on in that age group. But I think that turned them off. They want to be they want to do like younger music, and
Yeah, but if you've got your group now, and that's the idea. So most of the people who are subscribed to my YouTube channel are, because YouTube will show me the demographics. They're all between 40 to 50, I think, actually.
Wow.
So these are people who were new 90s. So this is when they were listening to music. And every day I'm reading over 1,000 feedbacks on, oh, we missed the 90s, oh, we love the 90s and stuff like that. They don't make the music like this and stuff. So they're saying we still want that. So Bruno's album did very well among that demographic, because he brought stuff that they liked, but he had Warner Brothers who was able to push it. And even when he had with 24 Karat, he had Mr. Talkbox who sounded like Teddy. So in a sense, they were emulating what was popular then, but in a small updated stuff. So I would hope, if you went back to your old days of, well, let me make another She's Mine type of stuff. It's just to see what, you've got the platform. You don't need to go into a record store and produce and sell it. You can, you go digital platforms to get it sorted out, but it will grow if people say, have we heard this before? The vocals, the production, and the lyrics.
Yeah. I think Bruno was going to tap more into that market, because he did the R. Kelly sounding song. With that one he did with Cardi B too, right?
Yeah.
The ballad. Then he did the remix, the New Jay Swing remix on the other one. So I think Bruno was getting ready to go there until COVID hit.
But see, this is where you guys could come back in, because no one is doing that, and even, we don't, country music doesn't change. If you listen to a country act, it sounds very similar to if you listen to 100 years ago. Yeah. Even rock and alternative and punk, they sound exact. They keep in the same lane. They don't try and update. There's a little change here and there, but a country record now would say no different than it did 50, 30 years ago. Yeah. Only R&B that decides, and hip hop gone. Hip hop and R&B seems to have gone the same path, and hip hop is easier and cheaper to promote, and they make more money off of them than if they had an R&B artist. So I don't know. You're a producer. You could try it out, do the New Jack stuff that you guys did with Basic Black, and see how the response is, and almost trust that this is the type of music that is timeless, that still has an audience out there. But if you try and compete with the, what Drake and Chris Brown are putting out, the problem is that they've already got their market sewn up, and their markets, they need to constantly put out the same track constantly. Drake can put out a track now that sounds like he did yesterday, but his people just buy it anyway. The problem is that I listen to Drake and say, well, if I just, all your albums sound the same, there's no different. It's just that it's just another beat. And I just wonder if you guys will take that risk of trying to do an old New Jack type of sound and see what people respond to it.
Oh yeah, I will. I know I will. I'm already in the process of doing it.
Okay, well, you have to give us a listen to, so when you finish to see, so we can help with that exposure and promotion and stuff.
I got you.
Yeah. So
I forgot to mention my experience with the King.
Well, I was about to ask you about that, because you did mention that you got to meet him. So when was this? What was going on?
This was right. I think it was right after we did Roughneck, and they was putting Michael Jackson on the Addams Family's second movie. He's gonna be on the soundtrack, and like I said, me and Teddy worked on some ideas. Flew out there, met with him, you know, looking over movie clips with Mike, and he was explaining what he want to go right here, and man, I was like, I was in another world again. Like, and so, but I didn't actually meet him when we got to his house. We drove a golf cart down to the movie theater, and the movie theater was like a mile from the house.
In his own house.
Yeah, we were going down the winding road through Neverland, passing giraffes and like crazy animals. So we get to the movie theater. He got Swiss chocolate in there with his picture on him, like on the actual chocolate. And he got like two booths in each corner of the movie theater. He got, you know, living room set in one, bedroom set in one, and both of them got like red hotline phones in them. But we were sitting out in the middle, and he was explaining the movie to us. Then, you know, he said, okay, so you're like, I got a movie. I'm sure he had got some movie from the theater. It wasn't even out on the market yet. So he asked us, did we want to watch it? We were like, yeah. So we drove back up to the game room. So a few of us went to the game room. Teddy went to the mansion with him, and next thing you know, we were like, Teddy came out, okay, we leaving. I said, we ain't gonna eat dinner and watch the movie. He's like, nah, and we got to go. So, but Teddy just wanted to get back to the hotel for some reason. And so when he next day he came to the studio, he was in a white Bronco, like the OJ Bronco.
Oh,
like he had a limo tinted out. So he got out. And Dick Scott introduced me to him. He's like, this is one of Teddy's producers. You know, this is Mucho. And Mike didn't even look me in the eye. He was like, how you doing? Yeah. And so, you know, he went back to his room. He had a room in Larrabee studio. And me and Teddy was in one room. So we would do the beat. And we would send it round to him in his studio. And he would cut the vocals.
Wow.
Yeah, so we wouldn't actually be in the same room with him. We do the beat, and then we sent to him, and he been in there by himself with his engineer doing the vocals.
Wow.
And so, you know, so I'm thinking like the next day, I'm like, okay, maybe tomorrow I'm gonna get a picture with him, and you know, so the next day, you know, Dick Scott called me in the room and said, yo, they taking Mike off the soundtrack. And I'm like, why? And you know, that's when the first accusation happened with him.
Okay, yeah.
And they put MC Hammer on there.
Yeah, now I remember. Okay, I can remember MC Hammer doing the Addams Family. Okay.
Yeah, so they put Hammer on there. That was supposed to be Michael Jackson's soundtrack. So after that, I didn't see him again. I was like, wow, I should have got that picture yesterday.
But you know, those days people didn't carry camera phones, and that you could take this some pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, but Dick Scott kept a camera with him. Teddy, old manager.
Okay.
He kept a camera with him. So I you know, he would have took a picture with him because he was taking pictures of me and Teddy at the mixing board together. And
okay.
So I was telling you the picture of me and Mike.
What happened to those to the vocals on that production? Did it just disappear?
I asked Teddy about that when we was on speaking terms about 3 years ago, and I think he sold it to an artist in South Korea.
Oh, like the songs, so like
the but not Michael vocal, but
okay.
Pratt, yeah.
Okay. So okay. Wow, that must be me. So I take it that you and Teddy aren't you're not, you guys don't work together anymore or talk together?
Nah, the last thing we did together was that Amerie. I think that was like 2010, 2012, something around like
okay. So I mean, it's yeah, I mean it's a small world. Hopefully, and the business is business, but hopefully we always hope that people get to make up at the right time and stuff. But one question I used to always, when I'm finishing, ask my guests is that if you were stuck in an elevator for a couple of hours and you were given a choice of a movie to watch while they try and get you out, what would you pick?
Austin Powers.
Okay. International Man of Mystery. The first one?
Yeah, the first one with a fat bastard in it.
Okay. Get in my belly. Yeah. Okay.
In my belly.
Yeah.
Baby.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
That one.
No. Okay. That's amazing when you ask these questions. Everyone comes up with different stuff. But what about a song? If they say, look, we're about to put the movie on, but we've got a few minutes before, so let's put a track for you to listen to before we get the movie on.
One of my favorite songs is "Computer Love" by Roger Troutman.
Did you ever meet him? Was he from? Did you ever meet Roger?
Actually, I'm related to him. My mom's maiden name is Troutman.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yeah, no. So I got I'm supposed to be doing a project with his nephew Rufus.
Wow.
And Rufus' talk box sounds just like his uncle. But that's my mom's maiden name, Troutman. It's way down the line. It's not like first or second cousin.
Yeah. But did you ever get to meet him or before he died?
No, I never met him. I met his son though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met Junior. But me and Rufus has been talking, so I'm supposed to be doing some stuff with him.
You know what? I think you guys will be onto something with that, because I think Bruno really took it. California Love is massive, of course, and Teddy did a lot with the vocal. But I think if you had a Troutman coming out with a vocoder production, I think it will get people's ears on and stuff like that.
I actually want to link him up with my nephew, because my nephew play a mean talk box too, named Jay Hot. I don't know if you follow him or not, but he doing a lot of work with Chauncey.
Okay.
And if you follow Chauncey Black when they was in the studio like 2 weeks ago, you'll see my nephew. That's my youngest sister's son named Jay Hot Scott. Now he actually do talk box when they was on speaking terms for Teddy.
Okay. Wow.
So on some of the newer stuff, you may have think you heard Teddy, but you probably heard my nephew.
Wow. So you're not involved with the new Blackstreets with Chauncey and stuff?
Yeah, I'm supposed to get with Chauncey and E Ballad on one song.
Okay. Yeah, but it's definitely been great hearing your style. I think one of the things that a lot of us would pick from what you've said is, the sense of working. Sometimes it's great when you work with big producers who've really made their name, but there are also challenges in it as well, and challenges and the politics of music publishing credits and stuff like that, because it's not just a case of your credits being there just so that people know you did stuff, but it's about long-term royalties as well that get pushed in. I've heard from Jean Marie, who mentioned the same thing about credits not being put on some of the stuff he did, but it was the kind of thing where back in those days, if they were putting an album to the Grammys, you could only have a certain number of people, but now it's different, so they could put a credit on. But the politics is really sad, because it seems to split relationships and stuff. I mean, if you go ahead.
Me and John Marie went through the same thing up there. He went through it as an engineer. I went through it as a producer.
Yeah. If there were things, if you had an advice for people who were starting off as a producer in the music industry, what would be your sort of words of wisdom, for, especially since you've gone through for such a long time?
It's kind of hard because I want to say just learn the business, but if you know too much of the business, then people might be scared of you because, you know, you got some people out there that want more than what they put in. Like they want theirs and yours. So but I want to say learn the business, but at the same time, kind of act like you don't know it, just to get your foot in the door. Then when you get your foot in the door, then you show them what you know. But don't go in knowing too much. Even though you may know too much, don't go in showing all your cards. Yeah. Just kind of act like you don't know a little bit of it, and just get your foot in the door, because it's hard getting in that door. If you know more than the person you're trying to deal with know, then they'll shy away from you. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next person. Maybe I can beat them. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna say, just, you know, get your foot in the door first, then show them what you know.
But then for producers like yourself, if you're not working alongside, say, a Teddy or Timbaland, who the labels tend to go to get the big track, because they know that if they push it out under their name, they will get the radio and stuff. How then do you get a phone call to say, hey, Mucho, can you come and work on this track for Beyonce or stuff? How does that happen if you're not?
It's a long shot. I mean, but I appreciate him for giving me the opportunity to, you know, to use him to get in the door. And I know we had to use his name to do it, but, you know, if you're going there as a new artist, I mean, you got a million talented producers out there, but if they don't get that first foot in the door, you may not never hear them. Yeah.
So what's going to separate you? What do you think separates you from all the other producers out there? What do you think you do that's very unique? That's
I keep my ears glued to what's happening now. You know, even the young stuff. I wouldn't try to do a young song for me, you know, a trap song for me, but I admire it as an art. So that art keeps my ear young, and it keeps me, you know, on top of my game. Mm-hmm. So it's like back in the day when our mom used to play Al Green. Yeah. And you know, we in the room, we playing Sugar Hill, and they saying, turn that racket down, you know, that's not real music. Yeah. And, you know, but they saying Al Green real music. But when we grow up and we play, you know, Al Green now, or, you know, Guy today, Basic Black, and our kids in the other room playing, you know, Migos, and, you know, some parents gonna say, turn that racket down. So I learned from there. I like, wait a minute, you know, when my mom saying Sugar Hill was, you know, noise, you know, when I was coming up, you know, I got to look at it a little different. So what my kids listen to, I kind of analyze it and say, you know, and admire it as an art.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You know, there's a question that people always ask: were there tracks from your Basic Black that didn't get released, that you recorded but you didn't get released on the first album?
Yeah, we not on the first album. Then we were working on the second album. We had a song called "Give Love a Chance," and we had a song called "No More Mr. Nice Guy." And I think Spec got a rough copy on cassette. And, you know, we were working on the second album, and then we had to split with the new company when we started working on the second album. So after that, we called it quits for a minute.
Okay. What about 911? Are there tracks that you guys recorded that haven't been released?
Oh yeah, we got a few of them. Actually, Diesel old manager got a DAT tape that we was trying to get in touch with him, that we can get them off that tape and, you know, get a good mix on them and kind of put them out. But Diesel recorded like me and him before we went to Virginia Beach. We was in Atlanta. We probably had about 6 or 7 more songs that hadn't been heard.
But that you recorded?
Yeah.
Because I've seen. I mean, but what are some of the ones that you guys recorded that either for the album or but that never got released?
I forgot the titles to them, but somebody texted me. Somebody overseas got whiff of one of them, and they texted to me. I was like, wow, I forgot about that song.
Because and I'm just trying to see now. Did you do one called "Do You Right"?
"Do You Right" is actually on the album, 911 album.
Where did you release an album?
No, but they released a copy of it overseas.
Then there's a "Spend Some Time."
That's on the album.
"Someone About the Way You Love Me."
"Something About the Way You Love Me" is on the album.
"Your Love Can't Get Enough."
"Can't Get Enough" is on the album.
"The Ride."
That's on the album.
"Catching Feelings."
That's on the album.
"My Heart Belongs to You."
That's on the album.
Okay, so this is on YouTube. Somebody's uploaded it all on YouTube.
It's South Korea and Japan.
Okay, about 2 years ago, somebody uploaded all of those tracks in the.
I think when Teddy lost his studio in Virginia Beach, he had the masters in his in a storage, and I forgot somebody bought the storage overseas, and they got a copy of all the masters.
So you guys don't own them? So you can't do anything about them?
No, not overseas. It probably take a long time, but you know it's hard from over here. But like I said, you know, Diesel old manager, I'm trying to get in touch with. I talked to him, and he's supposed to be getting up the tapes and all the old stuff me and Diesel did. I'm gonna try to get a good mix on it.
And then what would you do with them?
Well, the manager, me and him had to come to agreement, and we'll talk to Diesel family, and we'll mix them and we'll put them out. You know. But
as what? As 911 or as Diesel's?
I may put them on. Since me and Slim was a part of 911, I may put them on the Blackmail album.
Okay. No, it'd be good to, because no one's listening to that. I mean, I'm looking at them, 200 views, 50 views, because no one knows much about 911 apart from magazine, because it was on a soundtrack and it sounded as if Teddy did the production with Queen Pen on it. So that one is much more popular, but all the rest and stuff.
Yeah, Cutie was more popular in London.
Yeah, I've seen the video, which when this interview goes out, probably over the next couple of weeks, then I'll play the video so people will link the two and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, but no, definitely it's been great hearing your side of things, because as I said, when I interviewed Basic Black, it was really just hearing the journey as the group. Because then they've got the 2 new members, Anthony and Sean. So it was more like, well, I couldn't spend so much time with them. So they were touching a little bit about the journey, but more so just about the group and where they are now. But I think what you've done is tie a lot about, not parts of the group that I didn't get into, but a lot about the production side. Because I've heard a lot of artists talk about the business side, but not many producers talk about the challenges about being in production and stuff. So it's been really fascinating to hear your story and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I heard the interview, I heard him say KB did the drums on Nothing But a Party. I had to cut it off after that. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think, did the, no, so no, when the interview, I don't know, unless you saw the full interview on YouTube. So what I normally have to do when you have 60 seconds on Instagram, so what you do, you just chop little bits of it to put it in.
Yeah.
But in the full interview, we talk, I think the full interview is about, we bring on your name about you did the productions and this and that. But when you're doing the stuff on Instagram, if you don't do it in 59 seconds, you can't. If people say a minute and stuff, it's like, no, I'm not going to watch this. So you almost have to take a little bits of it, but the full interview.
But yeah, that part about nothing but a party was fabricated, like, cause like those are my drum. If you ask Kevin where did the drum loop come from, he probably couldn't tell you where that loop come from. He'll probably say James Brown, but
okay.
But that's nothing but a party beat didn't come from James Brown.
Yeah, no, as I said, it's stuff that I thought Teddy did, but I think but no, I think in the main full interview, we touch on everyone working, learning from Teddy, but learning and working you guys doing your own stuff as a group and doing the production.
Yeah, but nothing but a party was one of my babies. So if I did the beat, you got to let everybody know I did the beat. I mean, not you, but
yeah.
What Specs said. He said KB did the beat, and I was like, wow.
I'll have to listen to it again to see if that was it's the part on the video. But you didn't know, so. But I texted him about that, and he texted me like, well, you said you didn't want your name mentioned on the. Do you know what? And maybe that's probably why he didn't mention your name too much, because he didn't know if you didn't want to be brought into it. But because I said, what about Mucho? He said, okay, he'll call you up, but he did. So I felt like he was protected, almost like if somebody says, look, I don't want to be mentioned in this. So it felt like I
never told him that, man. That's just what he wanted to say. But like I said, like nothing but a party. That beat, that's one of my babies, along with she's my, like I said, those two of my favorite, along with whatever it take. Those two of my favorite beats. Now, if you actually read the Basic Black credits, you'll see my name on there way more than you see the other two names on there.
Yeah.
But when he did that, I thought that was kind of disrespectful. Like he said, KB did the beat I did. I kind of thought that was disrespectful.
Okay, no, I would look back at it, but I from the way I felt the interview was, it was as if they didn't want to. It was almost as if they were trying to, almost as if they didn't want to drag your name in because of an agreement. So I didn't know that you.
No, because they were stealing credits. They were stealing credit. KB didn't touch nothing but a party. But Spec said him and KB did the beat. I was like, wow.
Oh, was that credits with that? But I thought the credits, all that stuff is what Gene puts out. Or are you talking about credits?
Well, the credits on the Basic Black album, Gene put the right credits on that. Gene didn't do what the Teddy Riley moved. The Teddy would say his assistant made the wrong put the wrong info on there. Gene actually put the right credits on there.
Okay.
Now Gene didn't do no credit switching. I vouch for him on that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. With the Basic Black videos, as She's Mine and Nothing But a Party, they didn't seem to focus on you guys too much. The videos seem very dark, and we only see D-Zone. And was there a reason why you guys were almost hidden away?
Wasn't a reason. They tried to put us in there as much as possible, but it was mostly focused on the sound of the New Jack, not the beat. But Gene wanted to focus more on the Aaron Hall vibe, so that's why the camera was on D-Zone more than it was us.
Yeah, I always think, because if you watch any of the videos, it's like only a short cut on you guys, but mainly on D-Zone, which did a disservice, because they only show you guys always playing instruments, so we don't really get to see you guys like modern R&B groups where you get to see each member and get to see them.
Yeah, Gene was going after that the vocals more than the actual beat at the time.
Okay. Were you guys still in touch with him before he died?
Oh yeah, I like 2 weeks. I talked to him 2 weeks before he died.
Gene Griffin.
Gene?
Yeah,
Gene?
Gene. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I was on speaking terms with him.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
After he had a rapper called Pastor Troy.
He had Pastor Troy?
Was it Pastor Troy or the other one? Another rapper, Gene. I don't know if it was Pastor Troy. It may have been Pastor Troy. But Gene, he had a rap around about that time, and he wanted me to do some mixes on it. So yeah, we was on speaking terms.
Okay. 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 Wow. Well, I mean, definitely. I read. It's just after midnight here, so but so.
Oh, it's late.
Yeah, it's late, and I go back to work in the morning. But you know, it's been great getting to chat with you. Is that your home studio that you've got in? Do you do your production in?
Yeah. I got most of it up. I got the Raven double screen board, and then I ain't got my keyboard in here yet though. But I use that touchscreen Raven for mixing. It runs Logic and Pro Tools.
So you don't miss the MDC anymore?
MPC?
No, NDC.
Not,
yeah, you don't.
Not since '92. Not since Teddy put it in that closet. But the thing about it, I've been on Logic ever since he put me on Logic. But Logic changed platform about 2 or 3 times. There was a notator Logic on Atari, and then they went E-Magic Logic on Mac and PC, and now they're just Apple Logic on the Apple. So I've been on Logic since '92.
But if you went back to the old MPC, do you think the sounds would sound very similar to the '90s? Would it be different? Have you tried it to see what you could create with it, or would you even remember how to use it?
I can remember how to use it, but I can get that 8-bit and 16-bit sound from Logic and a lot of the plugins. And plus, it's faster. I see everything on the screen now. I can see the waves, so I know what I can take out and what it needs. But I mean, it's faster on the Logic.
As I said, I would hope that you guys would be able to go back and create and not go back and do an old '90s track, but almost, if you're trying to do the new Jack, do it as if you were back in '93, '94, and see how people might respond to it now. Because no one really does that. No one has really said, yeah, I'm going to try and do a '93, '94 track, apart from Bruno. He twisted a little bit, but everyone else is.
aggressive and sexy. I'll leave you wishing you would've left him quicker if you let me. A plus, maybe you beast the cutie. So we figure we got something in common. Enough no race about the common Tucci. Cause all I say rappers nothing but foreplay. Cause on the real for real breaking box springs and happens my forte. As I deliver force through pleasure with technique. I wax on, wax off and have your ass calling back next week. Now, there's been plenty times when knocking boots. Rough shakers telling me you be wrecking shot boo. But I just hit her with a check, baby zone. And keep delivering the flavor. Making her want more now like old ladies. So cuties if you want it, I got it. Chickens better feel what I said. Get your cut and pay me the bet. I got to do Gianna dough, I got to bread. I be the type of G that stays away from chicken heads.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I